Hello, everyone. This is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover. I'm back with another movie review, and it's been a little while since I've done one, but yeah, I thought I'd try to give everybody a nice little Christmas present this year, and I would review the 1992 film Basic Instinct. Now, I know probably somebody might be like, "Dude, why are you holding this? It's why do you have this on DVD? It's on Blu-ray. It's like, yeah, I do know, but the main reason I keep it is because of all the bonus features on there. So that's why. But also too, gotta make sure I have the unrated director's cut. So, but anyway, yeah, talking about this movie, um, erotic thriller, detective story, things like that. I think you're all familiar where with this is going, and yeah, so it's overall, I feel the movie is. I think it's fair. It's decent. It's not. The thing is, okay, I'll get into that in just a minute. The story concerns Nick Curran, who is a detective, and he's called in to investigate a murder where apparently this guy was having sex with a woman, and they were having this kind of kinky sex where got a little out of hand, and the guy was handcuffed to a bed. And apparently, while he was handcuffed to a bed and he was helpless, the lady decided to, help herself to an ice pick and do this guy in. So he's called in to investigate. And the main suspect that they have is Catherine Trammell, who's played by Sharon Stone. So they go to investigate her, and you know, if her, she seems kind of nonchalant about the whole thing, just kind of blowing it all off, doesn't take it seriously. So they decide that they're going to take her down to police headquarters and they're going to question her, and then I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to give away spoilers here, but I think if you're watching this video, chances are you already know this movie, you know what's in it. So, but so they take her down, they question her, and then you get that infamous scene where she basically, she flashes everybody in the room, which the thing is, it's like nowadays, I think. That's kind of the thing. Going back and look at this movie, I think now it seems kind of tame, but when it first came out in 1992, this was shocking. This kind of knocked everybody off their, on their butts. But so anyway, Nick decides that he's going to keep looking into Catherine Trammell and investigate her, but at the same time, we find out that Nick is kind of a loose cannon detective, and he's seeing Beth, a police psychologist played by Jean Triplehorn, who, yeah, they're involved in an affair and stuff, and we come to find out that Beth actually knew Catherine Trammell, and that her story kind of unfolds as the movie progresses. That they actually knew each other in college, and not only they know each other, it's revealed that the two of them were lovers, and they got into some pretty kinky stuff, and then you know next thing you know, now Beth has become, and she's become a suspect in the crime, and now Nick has to figure out who the killer is. So anyway, so little Sharon Stone for you, but so anyway, the movie, it's okay. It's a decent movie. I've definitely seen erotic thrillers done better. It's watchable. You get decent performances. Michael Douglas does the best that he can. Sharon Stone, I mean, this obviously was a breakthrough role for her. She really, delivers Catherine Trammell. At the time, she was very, very little known. I mean, she played Steven Seagal's wife in Above the Law, which, I mean, that was kind of a very nothing role. I mean, she was just kind of there. She had a major part in the Wes Craven film Deadly Blessing, and that was pretty good for her. But yeah, that was a movie she had to have a pretty much a tarantula put in her mouth. So yeah, and then I believe there was a Woody Allen movie she was in, but she doesn't say anything in the movie. So, but so this movie, because of the nudity and because of the controversy and everything surrounding this movie, it shot her to superstardom. But see, herein lies the problem, though, is when you talk about the controversy of the film, because ultimately that's what made the movie a hit. Um, I think, a lot of people would look at this movie now and they would say it's pretty much a by the numbers detective thriller. Some of the twists and turns, you kind of already see that stuff coming. Um, the explicit nude scenes, which, like I said, at the time, that stuff was really, provocative and groundbreaking, but over time that stuff has been it's been surpassed by nudity and other erotic thrillers. And you got to remember too, this was 1992, and back then on the channel, if you look, I did a video talking about this wave of erotic thrillers that came out in the 1990s. Now I don't know if it's possible that maybe Basic Instinct might have contributed to that and kind of started a wave of erotic thrillers, but they started in with a lot of these films, and a lot of these films ended up getting even more graphic than Basic Instinct did. So, but then also too, I think one of the things that really kind of hurt this movie was just, like I said, it was more about the controversy that's surrounding it. Because in the movie we find out that the character of Catherine Trammell that Sharon Stone played, because she's lesbian, and that really upset the gay and lesbian community when it came out, saying that also too, you got to remember this was around the time of Jeffrey Dahmer. So the lesbian and gay community, rightfully so, they were disturbed and they were upset by the idea that that basically straight society was looking at gays and homosexuals as just just killers, ice pick killers, and cannibals and things like that. So, but I think over time, just kind of but the movie did end up becoming a hit, and it shot Sharon Stone to superstardom and everything. But I just feel like ultimately it was really more of a hit because of the controversy and not so much because of the movie itself. Some of the, I would actually say now, while, Sharon Stone was the one who, basically shot to fame because of this movie, I would definitely have to say, in my humble opinion, I actually prefer Jeanne Tripplehorn. I always, nothing against Sharon Stone, but I always found Jeanne Tripplehorn, just far more attractive. I just thought she was infinitely sexier. So it's like, if it was me, I wouldn't, if I was Nick's place, if I already had Beth as my lover, I don't think I'd be going after Catherine, so that's just me. But also too, you got to give it to Michael Douglas for playing a character who pretty much for the most part, his character is kind of morally, reprehensible. He's not really a good guy. I mean, we find out that he's got tendencies towards violence. He has a lot of vices. He's not the most orthodox detective when it comes to solving cases and things. We find out that, he's got a problem with drinking. He's done drugs in the past, things like that. And we find out that, once he starts getting into the relationship with Catherine, she exploits that, and she's able to use that to her advantage to, to basically wrap Nick around her finger. And, ultimately, at the end, that's kind of it. She's able to use that to destroy him. And then we find out that obviously Catherine is she is the villain in all of this. And, because we find that out because they went and did a sequel. But I'll talk about the sequel another day. But just, it's very much just kind of your typical detective thriller. Just kind of, I got to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the nudity and the controversy and everything surrounding it, I think this movie kind of really would have just faded into obscurity a long time ago. It just, it really would not have had it just wouldn't have the reputation that it has, and, but anyway, though, I know it sounds like I'm picking on the movie, but honestly, the movie is, the screenplay by Joe Esterhaus is okay. Some of the dialogue is cringeworthy, but, I've definitely seen worse films. And I was a teenage boy growing up in the 90s during the whole erotic film craze. So, I could definitely say that compared to some of the stuff I've seen, that Basic Instinct is definitely one of the better ones. I just don't know if overall, if it's just, I think just kind of over time, I think people are just like, it doesn't really hold up. And just kind of, that's why it was the hit that he became. But I'm not saying stay away from the movie, though. I mean, it's actually a decent film. It's entertaining enough, keeps your interest. I don't know if people are as into Sharon Stone today as they were back then, but she looks amazing in the movie. Her, pretty much her performance is considered bold and brave, considered what she did in the movie, and how much she exposes of herself in the film. You know, Michael Douglas, not really that far of a, that far of a stretch for him to be in a erotic, doing kind of raunchy, rough sex scenes, because we've already seen him do that in movies like Fatal Attraction. I'm sorry. Wrong movie, numbnuts. Anyway, but overall, I would definitely say, yeah, I honestly think that you really should consider taking Basic Instinct and adding it to your collection, whether you get it on Blu-ray or DVD. If you are into erotic thrillers and you want to build an erotic thriller, erotic film collection, this really is kind of one of the ones you do need this. I think that, this movie does, it holds its place, and, you know, it's a good film for what it is. So overall, hopefully I'm sorry, I'm rambling right now. I know I am, but hopefully that'll make a little bit of sense. But anyway, so yeah, so we talked about Basic Instinct. Overall, a decent thriller, good performances. Like I said, Sharon Stone, I think she did a fine job. Michael Douglas, solid. But I would have to say probably my favorite in this movie would have to be Jean Triplehorn. I think she was my favorite character of the movie. Um, so anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, but also too, that's why I keep the DVD, even though I know everybody's going to be like, "Why do you have that when it's on Blu-ray?" It's like because of all those bonus features. That's why. So, but anyway, that's pretty much going to do it for this review. So if anybody took the time to watch all this, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it's been a while since I put up a movie review. I hope you do enjoy the video, and if you do, please like and subscribe. And until then, take care, and I'll see you all later. Have a good night.